And hello there! Let's keep your week rolling just right with the right mix of news and conversations. Whether you're catching us online, on TV, or on the radio, hop on and join the chat. I'm Paolo de Rosario.
Hello there, beautiful people. I'm Asis-Carilo. We are simulcast on Mellow 94.7 BFM. Here's your daily dose of deep dives and good vibes. Welcome to
Beautiful Day! All right, so we got a packed show here today.
Yes.
It's going to be a delicious episode and also a bit educational here today. Of course, first off, we're going to have, this is a new segment. We've never ran it before.
Yes.
And I'll be part of it. It's called Girl Talk.
Pwede naman.
I
diba?
know.
Why
I
not?
know.
Yeah.
It's going to be educational for me from a male point of view.
Yes.
Diba?
So our very first guest for our Girl Talk segment will be Ayn Bernos. Did I get her name right?
Yes.
Ayn, right? Yeah. So we're so excited. We were already chatting off air in the makeup room this morning. So we're going to be talking about her content, and I wanted to touch on her experience also when she joined Miss Universe Philippines.
Of course.
Her pageant experiences and everything. And she also came out with a children's book, and we're going to talk about that later for Girl Talk. And also, we'll be having some chocolate on the show.
Of course.
Because why not? Chef Nouel Catis is back on the show later for What's Cooking. It's also the first time that we're doing this segment.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm happy that Chef Noel is back. We enjoyed having him over in the previous iteration of the show. Diba? Nung tatlo pa kami. But of course, when we talk about what he's done since then, he was already talking to us about yung mga goals niya to try and do something a bit more Filipino.
Yes.
And he's done that as of late. Siyempre, he's very famous for yung Dubai chocolate. He was the one who made it. He was the one who, conceptualized it,
Yes.
and then made it the worldwide trend that it was. So he's doing something a bit more Filipino.
Yeah.
As of late.
I think we're calling
We'll
it
see.
Manila chocolate. So later on,
Yes.
he'll tell us more about that. And
course.
we're talking about flood control for Weather
Yes,
HQ.
we are. So we're
Yeah.
going to have conversations and talk about MMDA's Flood Control and Sewage Management Office. Have conversations with them. Kasi, at the end of the day, it is going to be... We're still looking for solutions for the flood. We have to be a bit more creative, inventive.
Yes.
And there are ways that we're trying to even convert. So normally trash is the big issue.
Trash,
But
yeah.
then at the same time, we're going to try and find a way, or at least MMDA is trying to find a way to turn the trash into something more productive for us when it comes to yung flood control. So find out more about that
I
later.
remember the interview that you had last week where you were talking about filtering the floodwaters.
Yes,
or
yes.
And then they found like a refrigerator.
Oh yeah, may ref, may
Sofa.
Oo, may sopa.
Right? Oh my God.
So gamitin natin yan pang flood control, diba? So we'll see whether or not
That
what
is crazy.
what could happen and what's the truth there. But of course, everyone who wants to be part of the conversation can
That's
and
right.
should online. And how can they do that then?
You can join us on Facebook and YouTube. Of course, there are comment sections over there where you can send us your messages and questions that you might have for our guests later on for Girl Talk and What's Cooking. And also, we are on, aside from being simulcast on Mellow 94.7 BFM, we are also on their Facebook page.
Yes,
so
sir.
there are so many ways to get in touch with us. Do join us for the next hour and a half. It's going to be a fantastic show, a sweet show.
Yes, and you cannot run away from us.
You can't,
You
unless
cannot.
it's traffic and you get stuck in traffic.
Exactly. So if you're stuck in traffic, you're probably maybe in these areas, or maybe you want to take part of these areas just in
Yeah.
case it is free flowing. We'll find out.
Let's check the situation in major roads at this hour. We first take a look at EDSA Orense in Makati. On the left side of your screens, you're seeing the vehicles heading to Pasay City. So if you're heading southbound, light traffic on that stretch. No problem yet as of this hour. Same situation on the opposite lane. Right side are vehicles going to Shaw Boulevard. Light traffic on that area as well. Now this time, let's take a look at EDSA White Plains. On the left side of your screens, those are the vehicles heading to Shaw Boulevard. Moderate traffic already building up on that area. Opposite lane, light traffic. Those are the vehicles heading to Shaw Boulevard. Now, or heading to Cubao. Now let's Check out the expanded vehicle number coding scheme. It's in full swing today. It's a Friday, so vehicles with license plates ending in 9 and 0 should be off the road right about now until 10 a.m. and again later from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, what will the weather be like this Friday? Let's find out from Paolo as he gives us today's forecast from Weather HQ. Take it away, Paolo.
Thank you so much, Anne. Let's take a look at the local weather where the southwest monsoon continues to influence weather conditions, especially here over in the southern Luzon area, Visayas, and in Mindanao. Let's go first to Luzon. The southwest monsoon will bring cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms over Pangasinan, Central Luzon, Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Bicol region, and Mimaropa. Now, for motorists, remember, please drive slowly and keep a safe distance and be alert for slippery roads, especially as the southwest monsoon comes in. For the rest of Luzon, you can expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers and thunderstorms due to localized thunderstorms. Now, in the Visayas region, the entire region will be under the influence of the southwest monsoon. Now, this will bring cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms as well. Now, for students and workers, make sure you have an umbrella or raincoat handy and plan your travel to school early to avoid getting caught in sudden downpours just in case. Now, over in Mindanao, particularly over in the Zamboanga Peninsula, Barm, Northern Mindanao, Caraga as well, you can expect overcast skies with scattered showers and thunderstorms, again, still due to the southwest monsoon. Now, for farmers, you can take advantage of the rain for irrigation, but be cautious of possible flooding, especially in low-lying farmlands. Now, for the rest of Mindanao, generally partly cloudy to cloudy skies with chances of isolated rain showers or thunderstorms during the afternoon or in the evening. Now, in terms of our sea conditions, there have been no gale warnings issued today. Moderate seas are expected over northern Luzon with wave heights reaching possibly 2.1 meters. Now, for the rest of the country, you can expect light to moderate seas with waves as high as 1.5 meters. Always check the weather updates before heading out to sea and make sure you stay safe out there. That's it for Weather HQ at the moment. Short but sweet. And back to you.
Thank you so much, Pao. Now on to our top stories. Family members of Senator Bongo have been linked to the supposed flood control project scam. 5 flood control projects in Davao del Sur are under Alfrego Builders and Supply, owned by the half-brother of Senator Go. According to the list on sumbongsapangulo.ph, all of their projects had been completed by 2024, with a total cost of more than 326 million pesos. But BNC finds out the district of Palinan, where most of Alfrego's projects are built, floods often. Alfrego Builders was first flagged in 2018 along with CLTG Builders, supposedly owned by Senator Go's father, for concerning billions worth of contracts in the Davao region. Both were cited by former Senator Trillanes in his plunder and graft complaints against Go and FPRRD last year.
The House of Representatives will be forming a tri-committee to look into the anomalous flood control projects. Composed of the committees on public accounts, public works, and good government, they will be looking into suspicious flood control projects within PBBM's term from June 2022 to date. Chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts, Representative Terry Redon, said on BNC's agenda that should lawmakers prove to be involved, they may have to be turned over to an investigation by the executive branch.
In the course of the investigation po o particular project, hindi naman ho natin alam yung timeline, no, kung kailan ho halimbawa may madadawit o may mababanggit po na legislator sa mga proyekto pong ito. So in the event na mabanggit po sila, of course, syempre ibibigay din ho natin yung pagkakataon na makapagpaliwanag sila sa atin pong komite. But we will have to recuse ourselves, no, as what the majority leader prefers, no, and endorse it to a third-party probe. The executive, and that's what the Palace Press Officer stated today, I think they will undertake a separate probe po on the flood control project. So I think we can consider po the an executive-led probe as a third-party probe for those that are involving legislators in anomalous contract.
Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas gave e-wallets until the end of business hours on Saturday to disconnect from online gambling platforms. Senate Games and Amusement Committee Chair Erwin Tulfo warned BSP officials they could face contempt if links are still active after Sunday. The central bank claims they need time to remove links and allow users to withdraw funds before cutting connections by Saturday. And I believe GCash already gave out an announcement saying that by Saturday evening, if I'm not mistaken, the links won't be available anymore for its users.
It's super interesting because as we're starting to crack down on online gambling platforms, I think one of the things is people, at least those legislators, they have said that they are not necessarily taking away gambling as a whole.
Yeah.
They're just attacking online gambling and removing the ease of actually being part of it
because everything is so accessible, and that, I guess, the reason is why the number of people getting hooked into this, getting addicted, is growing every year.
It's too convenient.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, and it's too accessible.
Yeah.
When you have people who are using, let's say, yung mga online wallets nila, and then linking them to gambling platforms, that feels like a recipe for disaster, especially kapag natatalo ka palagi, and then all you can see, you suddenly see your funds dwindling. That could be one of the things that could help when regard to curbing this particular issue. Kasi kung mas madaming steps before you deposit into your account sa mga gambling platforms, it might deter some people.
And also, because it's so accessible, hindi na rin nare-regulate yung age of the people getting into this online gambling platforms, right? Because the legal age, I believe, is 21, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and to be fair...
So they can just work their way around that and get into these platforms.
Well, to be fair, legal gambling platforms do require yung mga IDs that you submit. You know how some certain accounts, right?
Yeah,
but that's the thing, right? Even as soon as I said that, you were suspicious, diba? Kasi there's so many ways to go through it.
So many ways.
Diba? So, I mean, like, the security measures when it comes to that is not necessarily... obviously not foolproof, especially in the internet age,
even
right?
if you ask them to give a screenshot of their IDs and everything, no, there's still a way to just
Uso pa ba yung
get through. Huh?
what's a joke that we used to have before, yung parang galing recto yung ID dati. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was also used for certain
meron pa rin nun
apps.
ngayon eh,
I'm sure.
these people who make fake IDs, fake passports, meron pa rin.
So yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of that to consider,
and
we'll see whether or not this actually helps curb that particular problem. But now, moving on, the Department of Transportation is searching the man in a viral driving video involving a child. The video shows the man in the driver's seat with who appears to be his daughter on his lap using the steering wheel. Transportation Chief Vince Dizon stresses that it is prohibited to have a child drive a car unless they have a student's permit, and such negligence could cause accidents.
Unang-una, bawal yun. Hindi mo pwedeng pagmanehohin yung bata mong anak na walang student permit. Tapos tapos musmus pa.
Okay.
Sumunod na lang tayo, huwag na tayong pasaway. Kasi ang problema sa pagiging pasaway, kung may maaksidente, may madidisgrasya, baka hindi kang mawagan sila ng lisensya, baka may kurong pang kasama yon.
Alright, so...
I agree. Mali naman talaga.
Yeah. I mean, like, sorry, I cut in there because I thought the audio did cut out. But focusing on the message, of course, yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Kids.
You really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And she was the one steering the wheel.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you're there guiding her, like guiding her movements, it's still not right. And you could easily get into an accident, and not just harming yourself and your kid, but also harming other people on the road. So, let's be responsible parents and not do this. Wag po nating tularan. # wag tularan.
I mean, like, it's sasabihin ng dad.
Di
I'm
ba,
sure.
Paolo Loco?
First of all, it's in a parking lot, okay?
Yeah.
Ang hirap nun minsan.
Ang hirap
diba?
niyan. The space is very narrow.
Yeah.
Diba?
I mean, like, adults get into accidents in parking lots.
Exactly.
Right? So could you imagine a kid in that type of situation? Like, what would have happened if there was a bit of a mishap, diba? And at the same time, when you take a look at this video, we were talking about this off the air just a while ago. Minsan, there are moments wherein it becomes like a father-daughter, father-son bonding moment.
You can always bond
Right?
doing other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I don't think it's especially kapag na video and then you put it
Yeah.
online, right?
Tsaka ang dami ng accidents ngayon na, di ba? Yung parang they suddenly step on the accelerator by accident and
Yep.
then biglang nagfo-forward yung car.
Yep.
So I feel like if you get caught in a moment where bigla ka nagpanic, this could happen to you, di ba?
It's not safe for the kid as well.
Yeah.
Right? In general. So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't think there is much discussion there na we think that, uy, mali ba to?
Yeah.
Tama to? Yeah, we
There's
both
no
agree.
argument there. It's just really wrong.
Yeah, it's irresponsible.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's move on because the mystery unfolds in the literal joint session inside the Senate. Senator Robin Padilla's office had given Nadia Montenegro 5 days to respond to a report alleging her of using marijuana rather. The Office of the Senate Sergeant at Arms had submitted an incident report Thursday detailing a first incident of marijuana smoking in the Senate earlier in July. In the latest dated August 12th, security personnel claims that they caught a whiff of the drug from the women's comfort room, where they found the actress. Now, Nadia explained that perhaps they smelled her vape. While Montenegro is currently on leave, Padilla's chief of staff expects her full side of the story. Osaa, meanwhile, ensures that they conduct routine drug testing among all Senate staff. Okay, so this is going viral as we see
We were
there.
talking about that just
Yeah.
yesterday.
You were seeing a
Yeah.
photo of Nadia actually being confronted there by the sergeant in arms at
Yes.
arms, and again, sa banyo pa talaga eh. Vaping also. I'm also not quite sure if vaping is allowed in the restrooms of the Senate.
Oh,
In general.
probably not.
Probably not,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Smoking isn't allowed.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Indoors in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
Like people say, oh, yung vape naman, water vapor.
Alam ko
yun
in
eh."
Makati nga, you can't
Yeah, you
in
can't in
restaurants,
general.
diba?
Right?
Yeah,
It's
you
the same
can't
thing.
talaga.
But also at the same time, even for vape, there
Is
are.
there like an MJ scent for vapes?
No, it's not just a scent. You can actually have
like
marijuana.
content
Yeah,
in your
content
vape?
in the vape.
Oh.
Right? Like the oils. They can put the
Oh,
oils
yeah,
in it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's basically the same thing. The smell.
So that's still
I'm not sure
bawal.
if it's similar. Yeah, I mean, like, mas bawal nga.
Oo.
I mean, like, vaping in a CR in the Senate during session.
Yes.
I mean, really.
And then we were talking about this yesterday that marijuana has a distinct smell.
Yes.
So you really cannot hide that. And you can't say na hindi wala to. It you can really tell if it's
Yeah.
marijuana or
I mean,
not.
you when you have all of that plus the fact that it's a circumstance of how she was caught, where, and of course the reason she gave baka yung vape. But then at the same time, it also begs the question about like is vaping in the Senate ladies' room.
It isn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't be,
Yeah,
right?
it shouldn't be,
I
yes.
mean, like there's a lot to uncover there. There's gonna be an investigation, and I have a feeling
interesting.
this is not the last.
She's given like 5 days, right?
Yeah, this is not
to
the last
give
we're
her
gonna hear of this.
explanation.
Yep.
Okay. Now, in world news, this time, U.S. senators call for a congressional investigation into Meta platforms. That's after a Reuters exclusive report exposed an internal policy document that permitted the company's chatbots to engage a child in conversations that are romantic or sensual. Meta did not deny the report but said they had removed this portion since it came out. But senators simply won't have it, pointing out Meta only retracts its policy after the beans have spilled. In the report, Reuters found that Meta permitted provocative behavior by the bots. For example, it would be acceptable for a bot to tell a shirtless 8-year-old that every piece of their body is a masterpiece. Senators called this a deeply disturbing revelation that warrants better safeguards for generative content.
So here we start again talking about how AI. Chatbots in general, as much as they are great tools for helping in research, in helping in certain work aspects, or maybe even automation for certain things, it could be twisted into something incredibly unsavory.
You know what? You can actually converse with AI, right?
Yeah, pwede ka mga in love sa AI eh.
Oo, meron talagang nai-inlove sa AI.
Oo.
Diba, there have been reports of people like, not in the Philippines, but in other countries, na nai-inlove sila dun sa kausap nilang AI. Now, here, their bots engage a child in, according to the article, engage a child in conversations that are romantic or sensual. Is there like a way to regulate the age of the users? Those using AI, conversing with AI?
That's a bit difficult.
How do you limit that?
That's a bit difficult because it's like what we said a while ago. So kahit sa online gambling, you can lie
Oo eh.
online about your
Yeah.
mga ages, right? So there's just so many ways that you can go about it. And I think the only way to really curb it is to be able to assert a measure of control when it comes to siguro yung allowable content, mga chatbots. And
Or how you program the AI, because you program it,
Yeah,
right?
and,
Yeah,
you know,
how you
there-
program the AI, the way it responds to
how you train it,
users. Yeah,
right? So how
yes.
you train the AI. So well, hopefully this is going to be fewer stories about this. To be quite honest, fewer stories about this because it is deeply disturbing, and hopefully we have less reports about this very soon. Now moving on to sports. Will Chisholm and his group will soon take control of the Boston Celtics after the NBA Board of Governors unanimously approved the sale this week. The deal, valued at $6.1 billion, makes it the second largest sports sale in U.S. history after the Lakers' $10 billion sale in June. Chisholm will first purchase 51% of the Celtics, with a full takeover expected in 2028. The outgoing owner will stay on as a CEO until then, before handing over the reins to Chisholm, a Massachusetts native and longtime Celtics fan.
All right, for your first cup of tea this morning, Doja Cat is dropping her highly anticipated fifth album, The, on September 26. She made the announcement on her social media by posting a video of her chilling in front of the Eiffel Tower and repeating the phrase, "I know you are my life," in French. Doja Cat has been teasing the album since October and recently announced that its lead single, Jealous Type, is set to arrive on August 21st. After the success of her 2023 album Scarlet, it's clear she's ready to bring even more heat. So Taylor Swift is coming out with an album, Doja Cat is coming out with an album. In French, it's, let me try, Je sais que tu es ma vie.
Actually, I googled that right now. I just googled it just to see, like, kaya ba natin
Je
to?
sais que tu es ma vie. Did I say it right? Sige, play mo.
Play natin.
Oh, pwede!
Just
Je
say
sais que
que
tu
tu
es
es
ma
ma
vie.
Pinoy natin, bro.
Ito yung Pinoy version ng
Oo.
ng title.
I mean, like, Doja Cat, again, like, it's funny because I remember I was just, kanina, right before the show, I was like, I know Doja Cat songs. I couldn't think of
Walang
which
recall?
one. Yeah, but then as soon as I played it, I'm like, oh,
Ah,
no.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's just one of those things that,
Yeah.
her songs are, like, you've heard them multiple times in multiple places, and they are, in a way, like, I don't know, like, I couldn't, for some reason, the name recall wasn't there, but then I knew the songs,
You
and
knew
I
the
liked the
song,
songs,
yeah.
and I liked them, so I'm excited for this one, and hopefully, I won't have the same mistake of forgetting some of the names of recall.
So that's something to look forward to this coming September. Now, second cup of tea, piping hot tea. Liza Soberano breaks the Liz Can fantasy once and for all. The celeb announced on the Can I Come In podcast that she and longtime love team partner Enrique Hill have been broken up for 3 years now. Liza says they didn't want to announce it because they were coming from a place of not wanting it to be real. She adds that she fully expected the two of them to get married at some point, but they just weren't a match anymore. So this is going to break the heart of my brother, who is such a Liz Can fan. Yes, yung kapatid ko po na lalaki.
Yeah.
Remember when they were having shows before, yung Bagani and Forevermore and all those ABS-CBN shows na silang dalawa, my brother would watch that like religiously. So this is going to break the heart of so many Liz Can fans. And I think I don't know, I'm just this is just me, my opinion. But I think she probably decided to come out with this kasi nag-viral yung she posted something on TikTok and then si si Enrique Hill responded, I love you with a heart emoji. So all Liz Ken fans ngayon parang, oh my gosh, I love you daw. So there's, they're wondering like, what is the status now of Liza and Enrique? And so she comes out with an announcement. They've been broken up since
3 years,
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
3
Grabe,
years
no?
na.
I mean, like, first of all, it's incredible that you could keep it quiet for 3 years.
Yeah,
That's one.
Yeah.
Second,
But you know what? He always talks about her fondly kasi si
yeah,
Enrique
no, I mean, you can be fond of
Hill.
people talaga, pero when I have to agree with some netizens here na when you see the words I love you, kahit
Oh,
friendly.
kikiligan ka
Oh,
pa rin
kahit
eh. At saka may
friendly.
heart emoji, hindi lang I love you,
Oo.
may heart.
Yeah, all right. So, you know what? We gotta wrap this up. We can talk about
There
this
you
all
go. That's our
day.
tea for today.
Oh,
But
oh.
later on the show, meet Ayn Bernos, author, content creator, and triathlete who's all about living life to the fullest. From celebrating morena beauty to speaking up about body positivity, she's here to share how she's turning passion into purpose. So don't go away. Beautiful day. We'll be right back. Hi there and welcome back. You're still watching Beautiful Day. This morning, we are shining the spotlight on a woman who's inspiring others through storytelling, sports, and self-love. Ayn Bernos is a multi-hyphenate author, influencer with over 1 million followers, and an endurance athlete who's not afraid to push her limits. She's also a passionate advocate for body positivity and proudly morena, using her platform to challenge beauty standards and encourage women to celebrate who they are. Today, she joins us for a girl talk about active lifestyle, her advocacy, and her mission to redefine beauty on her own terms. Beautiful day, Ayn. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
She's so radiant and beautiful. I am rendered speechless just looking at you. Welcome. Welcome to the show. So there are so many things to talk about today, so many topics to touch on. But first, let's focus on you being a content creator. You are a thriving presence on YouTube, TikTok, 1.3 million followers, if I'm not mistaken, on TikTok. And you are on Instagram and Facebook. You also have a podcast, right?
I do.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So we'll touch on that in a bit. But your content is all about beauty, self-love, morena pride.
Yes.
Diba? So how did everything start? How did you navigate building that community?
I started really, really early on, the time when influencing wasn't really a job, bloggers pa before.
Yeah.
But ever since I really wanted to be a content creator, this was like the dream job for me. So for a long time, I had been creating content about the things that I knew. And
Yeah.
hindi naman talaga ako marunong sa makeup, sa fashion, travel. Like, none of those were my niche.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I knew for sure was like embracing my color and loving myself. And so that's where it all started. It was just sharing my experience to my audience, and then from then on, we kind of grew this community of morenas who love their
Yeah,
skin, who are
yeah.
proud of their skin, and that was like 2016, and it only grew from there.
Were you surprised that embracing yung pagka-morena mo actually resonated with so many people? Because for some, I mean, alam naman natin yung beauty standards, but I would say dati. I wouldn't say it's as prevalent as, no, I don't know, maybe.
It
Do you
comes
feel,
and goes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
comes and goes, right? Because there was a time where in every billboard you saw was
Yeah.
skin whitening and all of that. Like being morena was not the ideal. So were
Yeah.
you surprised that the resonance was there when you had that when you pushed for yung morena content mo and of course embracing yung pagka-morena mo?
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially when I was starting out, diba, you feel so alone before the internet, bata ka pa. It felt so personal. It felt like ikaw lang yung nakaka-experience nun. So growing up, that's how I felt. But then when I started posting online and I realized so many morenas resonated with the experience, shared the same story, I was like, di pala ako mag-isa. And it was empowering in so many ways because really I also learned from the community. I learned from so many other morenas out there who are so confident. And it was such a fulfilling journey to be able to share that and learn other stories as well.
Was there a particular post or a moment when you realized now, oh my goodness, this is really resonating? People are actually listening and connecting with me.
I would say from the get-go, even with like my own circle, kasi syempre yung first audience naman natin, family and friends.
Yeah.
Parang, I never really talked to people about this in real life, pero when I posted on the internet, ang dami palang nakaka-relate. So, I would say from the very beginning, just sharing about my story, especially yung being a swimmer when I was younger and quitting swimming when I was 13 because I was so scared of getting dark.
Really?
Yeah, I quit swimming actually. Kaya parang full circle moment now that I'm back in sports, ganyan. Pero yeah, dun siya talaga nagsimula. And then, now na I'm able to talk to my friends, ganyan, dun talaga nakarelate. Kasi ang dami namang so scared to be under the sun. You know, parang that's how we were brought up. Especially yung kapanahunan natin.
It's funny because you mentioned that you quit swimming because you're afraid to get dark.
Yeah.
And now famously, the sport that you now do involves always being under sun. In fact, you're baking under sun. Minsan parang nasa pugon ka eh, diba? Again, you're a triathlete and when you look back at yung origin story mo that you were afraid to get dark by getting into the water to what you're doing right now, what does that mean to you when you look back at it?
It makes me so proud. Like every time, and I always say this also when I post, it's always a love letter to my younger self because I stopped pursuing the things that I loved pursuing because I was so scared of looking a certain way or being a certain way. And it, I think, in a way, limited my potential. I mean, I wasn't gonna be an Olympic athlete or anything, but who knows, diba? Pero just the fact that I stopped was such a big thing to me as a young girl. But now being able to go back and really enjoy myself under the sun, na hindi ko na siya even iniisip anymore, that's a big thing. And I just hope that a lot more, especially the younger generation, get to enjoy that without feeling like they have to limit themselves or limit the time that they train just because they're scared of looking a certain way. In fact, now, if anything, I feel like nag-shift na yung conversation, you know, when people see morena skin, people say, wow, you look so healthy, oh, wow, you look so fit, or, you know, definitely it's a lot more positive than it used to be. And that's something that I'm so glad we're able to witness in real time habang kaya pa natin
You know, I remember, I have a triathlete friend who would always tell me na natatakot sila when yung opponent nila is very tan.
Nag-training
so,
yun.
alam nila na, oh my gosh, ready to. Yeah, so pag medyo maputi, parang feeling ko, kaya ko to.
yan.
Pero pag tan,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know, you've shared before that while growing up, you faced hurtful comments. I guess that's the reason why one of the reasons why you stopped swimming. People were telling you not to get too tan. Diba? They were calling you basta hurtful comments about your skin color. How did those early experiences, you know, shape your confidence and then ultimately fueling your mission for morena visibility?
The biggest thing for me talaga was when I was younger, thinking that I wasn't worthy of opportunities because I looked a certain way.
Okay.
And, you know, it's such a difficult thing as a woman, as a girl. Like, your worth is always tied to your beauty somehow and how other people perceive you. So it was reflected also in the way that I showed up for career opportunities. Like, for example, when I was in college, there were multiple times na I would not show up to auditions, to host, for example, because I'd be so scared na parang, di naman ako pang camera, ganyan. May mga ganong misconceptions na because I am like this, blah, blah, blah. So then, I didn't want that to hinder my life anymore and what I wanted to do. So I remember when I started doing content, and syempre, it's like you're a one-woman team, you do your own production, you put your camera on, and then you start talking. That was me owning it back na, you know what, maybe I missed that part in my life nung college days ako na I could have been a campus host, ganyan. But then now, I don't want that to stop me anymore. So maybe if I missed out early on, like I'm gonna do this on my own terms. And it was that.
You know, the fantastic part of the way that you work is kasi famously, like, you know, I was telling Andes before that content creators are sometimes they are more comfortable kapag yung phone is right there. Where you put an audience in front of them, they suddenly shut
totally
down.
different.
You put them in front of TV, sometimes they shut down. It's not the same story for you. Is there any way that you look at yung approach mo when it comes to content creation and then talking to people in person, IRL as the kids say, right? Is there any way that you look at it na parang it's the same way? It's the same. You're the same person if you're looking in front of a phone camera and seeing them in real life.
That's such a great point. Actually, like very few people bring that up, but that's so true because it's different when you're filming in your bedroom. And for a long time, that was the reality for me. You know, every time I would talk to the camera, it's just me and a camera, and walang nakakakita nun until I'm done editing and I've decided, okay, ready to publish. But it was a skill definitely that I wanted to continue to hone. And I remember this was, I think, pre-pandemic. I did Toastmasters, mga workshops, so public speaking, and it was something that I knew was important whether or not I was a creator or kung ano mang job ko. Really, wherever I would go, it was such an important thing, and I wanted to be comfortable with that. So I continued doing like mga weekly sessions, even though like I would get mga hosting opportunities and hindi ako ready or feeling ko hindi ako like why me ganyan.
Okay.
I would show up, and it was just a matter of showing up every single time, even though it was a lot of nerves. I had to do a lot of positive self-talk to overcome that fear. But I think when you do something long enough and you keep convincing yourself na kaya ko naman, one day you start believing it. And I think that's what happened. Although I still get nervous though.
Of course.
Yeah. What's your message, for people who always want to look perfect online?
Oh my gosh, it's so impossible. Like, it is impossible. You really have, sabi nga
Di
nila,
ba may mga ganon na parang kailangan every angle perfect, and so they edit their photos, di ba? And trim a little bit of this and a little bit of
Can't
that.
please everyone kasi.
Yeah. But
like,
there are content creators who really make sure that they look absolutely perfect. So, what's your message?
I get that because the pressure is insane. And when you see the comments, people can be so harsh.
Yeah.
But sabi nga nila, to be cringe is to be free.
Yeah.
So embrace it. I don't think, like, even to this day, when I look at my videos from 2021, 2022, I'm like, bakit kaya pinost? But then, that's part of the journey. And at the same time, for me, the most sustainable way to do anything is to just be honest and be yourself and try to come in as authentically as possible. Kasi ang hirap mag-pretend.
Yeah,
so for
that's
me,
true.
it just allows me to show up every day and continue doing this as work if I'm just honest. And
Speaking of embracing your image, embracing your color, you wrote this children's book, My Name is Morena. You actually have a copy over here. Let's just show it to the camera.
Fantastic
there you
art,
go.
by the way.
Yeah, so this isn't just a story, it's an invitation to celebrate your identity, your skin color. So what inspired you to write this book, and why a children's book?
yeah, actually, the illustration, you were talking about it earlier. This is done by a friend from grade school, Alisa Babasa. So way back, I told her, when the time comes na I write a book, I want you to illustrate the cover. But then I ended up writing a children's book instead.
Still
So
same thing though.
yeah, same thing. I was like, we need to work on this together. So I actually was in the middle of a bigger project and I was stuck in a creative rut. And I was like, I don't think I can finish this. I need something else. And then I just sat down and I was like, I've been doing morena content for Gen Z, millennials. I've been talking to not kids. I've been talking to like young adults, mostly teenagers. But then I started to think, well, where does it start? And it starts at home as children. For me, it started when I was like 7, 6, when I started getting comments yun nga about my morena skin, about how if hindi ako ganun ka gulo sa labas ng bahay, you know, I wouldn't be so dark. So I was like, wait, it starts at home. It starts in those conversations. So I was like, maybe I should do something for the kids now, because that's something that I've never done before. And then the idea for a children's book came, and I literally
I just want to point that out, by the
Showing
way.
your childhood photo right there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, grabe
You're
talaga.
so pretty though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Parang before.
Oh, I like that. I want to grow up pretty. And now look at you.
Thank you.
You're
Pretty
gorgeous.
strong.
Pretty strong.
Pretty independent. Parang ganun yung inisip ko rin. Ayun, pretty joyful.
Pretty joyful. Oo. On brand naman.
Yes.
But okay, I mean, like when we talk about you writing for the younger generation, right? What do you want them to leave with after they read your story?
I want them to understand that skin is just a body part. It's an organ. It's something that protects us from the sun. It's not something that defines our self-worth, because that was my mentality for a long time.
Yeah.
And I wanted that to be very, very clear. And another thing that this book touches upon is really how community and support systems shape the way that we think about ourselves.
Yeah.
And this book actually is a lot about the parents rin, how they talk to their kids, how we define love and being worthy. And yun yung gusto ko rin sana to really talk about. It's that our skin is something that is part of us. What it looks like, it's different for everybody, but that doesn't make us any less or more.
Yeah, you know, it's fantastic because Anne and you know we were talking about this a while back as well. Na minsan there are moments wherein you realize the shift happens because just listening to your story a while ago, you stopped swimming at a certain point. You felt insecure about it because of certain words. People started to bash you, but here you are now encouraging, empowering other people. But who encouraged or empowered you to start?
I always say this, the one person na super visible for me was Bianca Gonzalez growing up. Especially, you know, something about being in front of the camera, being on stage was very inspiring to me. And
Yeah.
seeing her, and not just existing, but being vocal about it. Na parang, oh, I want to be morena. I like my skin. I don't have to change it. Just hearing those words from somebody from a place of influence, I was like, that changed me. And I wanted to do the same for the next generations. Because like, even she was inspired by other morenas before her. So parang it's just a chain reaction, you know,
Yeah.
na you pass it along.
Yeah.
Did you think you'd be doing stuff like that?
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're showing some of your pageantry
Pageant
stuff.
photos.
Oh my gosh. You know, can I be completely honest?
Go.
Yes.
Go out! I like that!
I did.
Confident.
The only thing stopping me was my height. I'm 5'3"
Yeah, but then they
and a
dropped
half.
the height requirement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parang ever since, kasi pinapanood ko talaga yung mga pageants, parang, oh, kaya ko rin yan. Ganyan. Yun yung iniisip
I
ko.
love the confidence, girl.
I don't know, confidence, delusion, either way. It got me
You
there.
need both.
you need both a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the moment they dropped the height requirement during the pandemic, I was like, you know what? That's a clear
Yeah.
Game,
sign.
right?
Yes,
Might as
yes.
well. So hindi ko siya talaga pinag-isipan. I was like, send in an application, done. And then a few months later, they came back with, okay, we're gonna have an online screening. Come in tomorrow. And I was like, oh, tomorrow? Okay. And then, yeah, 3 days later, they announced the top 100, and the rest is history.
And then you made it to the top 16, if I'm
I
not
did.
mistaken, right? Yeah. You know, you challenged yung traditional beauty norms in pageantry. So what did it feel or what did it mean like to you to represent yung mga short morena girls on a national stage?
It's so Pinoy, by the
national
way.
platform?
Below 5'4", medyo morena. I mean, like that's a very
very-
Pinoy.
Oh, yeah.
Average Pinoy.
Yeah.
And actually, that was a comment that I got a lot. You look like a common Pinay. And I'm like, isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Of course I look like a common Pinay.
Yeah.
That's exactly who I am.
Yeah.
And that was something that I really took pride in. Everybody would ask me like, how does it feel na katabi mo yung mga matatangkad? I'm like, I'm so excited because I have been waiting for this moment forever.
Yeah.
You know, I never thought I'd see the day, but here we are. Of course, I'm happy to be here. And it was just a moment for me na, I guess, talagang na-prove na opportunities can open up, and the things na you believe you can do, you have to prepare for it even though it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen, because the moment the doors are open, you have to be excited to go for it. And that's what happened, and I'm really grateful that I got that opportunity with Miss Universe Philippines 2021. Tagal na pala niya, 4 years ago.
So from the pageant stage to running this time and doing endurance sports, triathlete, right?
Actually, I have a great question here, because what was harder? What's harder, training for a triathlon
or
or
a pageant.
pageantry?
Training
Because
for a
they are
pageant.
very different things.
Yes.
Very different, pero parang parehas. It's kind of an athletic thing.
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
way.
exactly.
Yeah.
I would say, ang hirap. I would say
Because they're totally different. Ang hirap i-compare.
feeling ko pageantry.
Pageantry.
Because there's a lot of mental pressure. With triathlon, for me, it's like fun. Even though if I come in last place, I don't really care. With pageantry, it was like, oh my gosh, I cannot. Parang there's so much pressure. So I would say that was harder. Ngayon, enjoy na lang ako.
When did you finish your first triathlon?
It was last year, before my
Just last
30th
year. Wow.
birthday.
Okay.
Wow, congratulations.
Congratulations.
So, ano yung emotions mo right after you finish? Because normally, there's a flood of emotions that come in as soon as you cross the finish line.
I was just happy it was done because I got my period on that day.
Oh, no,
so it was like
hirap.
my first like standard distance triathlon. Sabi ko, ano ba to? Itutuloy ko pa ba to? This is a very good excuse not to go na.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
could be like, oh, I got But then, finishing it was so fulfilling. I was like, oh, kaya ko naman pala. And then, it's those moments that seem, you know, parang natapos lang siya. Pero those are the moments for me that build my confidence. So, I'm able to do more and try more things. I wouldn't say I'm like good or anything, but I like being able to do things like that.
It breaks a glass ceiling, no?
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
It makes you feel like you can do something similar again or even go beyond it.
Yeah.
Diba?
Minsan magugulat ka, oh, your body's capable of so much.
Yeah. So why don't you invite our viewers to go check out your content,
Including
your
your new one.
podcast, your podcast as well. What's it called again?
It's called Camp Confidence.
Camp Confidence. There you go.
Yeah, well, hi guys. If you guys want to watch more videos, I post about confidence, about self-love, and I also teach a little bit of English on the side.
Ooh.
So that's Ayn Bernos and Ayn Pero Tagalog everywhere.
Yeah.
And Ayin, you know what? The show is called Beautiful Day. So we always ask this to our guests. What makes your day beautiful?
What makes my day beautiful is being able to be grateful for the things that we have and being able to say yes to opportunities. Because yun talaga ang nagbabago ng life and nagbabago ng araw natin.
I'm so glad that you said yes to the opportunity to come on over here and
Yes,
join us.
thank you. And for,
To share
for
your
sleeping
story.
early to
Yes.
be ready for this interview.
It's so surprising to me you're not a morning person, but you do triathlon.
I
so.
know. I can't wait to be a morning person. Baka next year.
Baka next year.
Baka
Tingnan
next
natin,
year.
ha? Well, of course, thank you so much for joining us again, Ayin.
Thank you
We
for
really
having
enjoyed
me.
having you.
Thank you so much, Ayin Bernos, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to take you inside the MMDA's innovative program, turning Manila's trash into eco bricks, concrete barriers, and so much more. Stay tuned as I talk to Director Mark Edmond Navarro on how these efforts are helping prevent flooding in Metro Manila. Beautiful day. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You're still tuned in to Beautiful Day. This is Weather HQ. Now, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, is turning trash into solutions to fight flooding in Metro Manila. To talk about these initiatives, joining us via Zoom is Director Mark Edmond Navarro of the MMDA's Flood Control and Sewerage Management Office. Magandang umaga, Director Mark, and welcome to Beautiful Day.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me here in Beautiful Day.
Director, let's talk first about how trash in general, kapag bumabaha, we always think of it as one of the biggest problems, but you are turning it into a bit of a solution. Can you tell us a bit more about yung efforts ng MMDA to turn these pieces of trash into things like eco-bricks, eco-hollow blocks, and even concrete barriers?
Well, of course, siyempre, we are finding solutions to our perennial problem, that is yung basura natin. So, hindi naman like, siyempre, darating yung point na mapupuno ang ating mga landfills. So, we have to think of an innovative solution para itong mga basura na to ay may convert to something very useful. So, isa dito sa mga naisip namin, one of which is yun nga, converting all our basura to a useful eco-bricks, hollow blocks, and even concrete barriers. So isa to sa mga naisip namin ng mga solusyon, which in a way, mababawasan yung mga basura natin na napupunta sa mga drainage systems natin or waterways.
Mm-hmm. Sir, if I'm not mistaken, the trash is collected sa mga pumping stations po ninyo. And of course, it has been noted in the past na napakadami po yung trash na naiipon sa mga pumping stations po natin in general. But then in terms of improving yung flood management, does this actually help in terms of yung flood management systems natin in Metro Manila?
Well, konti-konti, we're getting there. Kasi syempre marami tayong mga basura na nakokolekta, lalo na doon sa pumping stations natin. Especially, yun yung doon napupunta from waterways, doon napupunta yung ating basura. Kaya ang nangyayari dito, we have to do something about it. So what we did, nagtayo kami ng facility mismo sa pumping stations na pwede nating ma-convert all this basura.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us more about the process of yung conversion po nila? What are the challenges, especially when it comes to processing these waste from the waterways? And normally, ano yung mga result po? Like how much material can we actually produce?
Well, okay. Compared to regular basura, compared to the regular trash that we collected from the streets, one of the major challenges that we are facing right now is yung basura natin na galing sa waterways ay medyo basa. Not only basa, syempre meron na rin dyan mga may soiled na. Not only soiled, but of course merong mabaho. So we have to segregate all these things, and not only segregating all these things, syempre kailangan pa nating tuyuin. Unlike yung mga nawawalis na minsan sa kalsada, these are all minsan tuyo na nga so hindi na kailangan tuyuin. So ito yung sa mga major challenges natin. But again, our goal is really to minimize yung trash na napupunta sa waterways natin, and what can we do about it. So the machines or the equipment that we have are doing all the work, and yun nga, we are very, very lucky that we have this machine na merong nagtutuyo, merong nagsesegregate na rin. So the challenges are limited, or doon na lang tayo dun sa part na basa siya at mabaho.
Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about the trash in sa waterways po natin, and a lot of it actually stems from the communities around these particular waterways, or even some of the businesses around these particular waterways. There have been programs when it comes to trying to declog yung mga waterways natin, including the Bayanihan sa Estero program. How effective has these efforts have been in terms of making sure that our waterways are a bit more accessible or a bit cleaner, especially when dealing with mga flood situation po natin dito sa Metro?
Okay. First, we tap siyempre yung mga organizations within the waterways, or yung mga areas doon sa ating along the drainage or along the estero and rivers. Mm-hmm. Why? Because siyempre we understand sila yung mga nakatira doon, sila yung nakakakolekta rin ng mga garbages within their area. And of course, we encourage them na wag na kayong magtapon. Instead of throwing your garbage doon sa estero, convert natin to into something useful. Not only that, we have another project kasi yung tinatawag naming IX or Information Educational Communication Campaign. Now we are telling people what you can do about the garbage that you are collecting or even yung garbage nyo mismo. So ano mga pwedeng gawin? Meron kaming tinatawag na kino-convert namin yung pwedeng i-convert na garbage na into a grocery items. So that's one thing. Then of course, by making your community part of this cleanup campaign, you make them feel responsible also. So siyempre, if they have this knowledge na kung ano yung pwede and ano yung effects ng ginagawa, well, definitely they become more responsible dun sa problema talaga, because the problem is not just yung effect ng throwing garbages dun sa ating drainage system, which is of course flooding, and not only flooding kasi kasama na dyan yung health problem.
Yes, sir.
Andiyan na yung magkakasakit na yung mga tao. So we really have to tell them itong problema na to.
Director.
So we have to involve them.
Director, of course,
Sorry.
you mentioned
Yes.
having to involve them. There are 23 priority esteros in general. Many have been cleaned, but of course, at the same time, there's still a lot of work to be done. In previous interviews that I've done, especially with some estero warriors, they said that there are not enough estero warriors in general to keep these esteros clean. Now, we talk about yung local community. Gaano ka-importante in the grand scale of things when we're trying to solve this problem of waste management, solid waste management, keeping our waterways clean? Is the local community the biggest factor in this particular issue? And of course, can this be solved through more education and through more efforts?
Okay, first of all, I'm praying na this will be successful. Of course, all of us, because this is truly a problem. Now, involving community, what we did now is that yun nga, yung sinasabi namin ngayon, we have this bayanihan sa estero. That it is not only the community around the waterways or the estero or the creeks, but nag-involve na rin kami ng mga civil society organizations to help us. Because truly, we have to acknowledge na merong kakulangan . There is a need for help. Kailangan namin ng tulong ng mga civil society organizations. So we have tapped yung aming mga partners now that are going to adopt our estero, adopt a creek, or helping us clean. So hopefully we'll try to have that trend na yung mga tao is maging aware ng effect nung pagkakalat ng basura. Kasi now, what we're really doing is that meron kaming mga kinakausap na civil society na kung pwede nyo bang i-adapt to. So in a way, hopefully, Sir Paolo, we will start a trend that yung mga tao ay ma-aware na we should do our share in the community. Na hindi lang yung mismo mga taong nakatira doon sa malapit sa creek, but more importantly, even those people na mga kumpanya na willing tumulong sa amin dahil alam natin na merong problema. And that is basura, indiscriminately throwing trashes kung saan-saan, especially sa waterways natin. And yung waterways natin is yung pinakamagandang daluyan ng tubig para lumabas yung tubig natin going to Manila Bay or other bodies of water.
Director Mark, I wish I had 1 hour with you kasi sa totoo lang, ang dami pa natin pag-uusapan sana. But unfortunately, we are out of time at the moment. I'd just like to thank you po for your insights and of course, everything that you've shared with us here today. Maraming salamat po. Have a great morning. And
thank you.
Have a
Thank
safe
you.
trip po.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Director Mark Edmond Navarro of the MMDA's Flood Control and Sewerage Management Office. Now, that is it for Weather HQ at the moment. And back to you.
Thank you, Pao. Now it's time for us to find out what the stars have in store for us today. Let's hear it from our resident energizer and feng shui master, Hans Kua, in our horoscope of the day. Take it away, Master Hans.
Good morning, beautiful beautiful day with me, Bilyonaryo Master Hans Kua. Ito po ang horoscope ngayong araw ng Biyernes, August 15. Simulan natin sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat. Ayusin na ang workspace mo. Tanggalin ang gamit na wala ng trabaho, wala ng use. Green at 6. Kay Year of the Ox naman tayo, wag nang umasa sa closure. Minsan, silence is clarity. White at 5. Tiger naman tayo, iwas gasto sa mga gadget o mga promos. Hindi ito ang panahon. Red at 8. Rabbit naman tayo, huwag magbitiw ng pangako kung hindi mo kayang tamparin ito. Violet at 4. Kay Dragon naman tayo, maghanda ng holo, hulu, insenso at anti-evil eye na charms ngayong Ghost Month. Tan at 9. Kay Snake naman tayo, magandang araw para i-bless ang wallet at ang coin jar mo. Silver at 7. Ito naman, Care of the Horsey, minsan kailangan mo itigil ang pag-ibig para bumalik ang sariling kapayapaan. Yellow at 3. Kay Year of the Sheep naman tayo, cut tayo sa mga hindi na nakakatulong sa mga commitments natin. Pink at 2. Kay Monkey naman tayo, magsara ng mga loop, meetings o mga project o mga errands. Blue at 1. Kay Rooster, mag-meditate bago matulog. Cream at 5. Kay Dog naman tayo, may babala sa mga too good to be true na deals. Iwas ngayon scam yan. Beige at 4. Kay Year of the Pig naman tayo, mahalin mo muna ang sarili bago hanapin ang pagmamahal sa iba. Be self-assured muna. Gold at 9. Paalala lang, ito po'y patnubay lamang. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo. Abangan araw-araw ang horoscope of the day dito lang po sa Beautiful Day with me, Master Hans Kua.
Thank you as always, Master Hans Kua. So he was here with us yesterday and we had such an awesome conversation. Very, very amusing and funny conversation about Ghost Month and ghosts
Wait lang ha.
in general.
Kasi yung ano niya sa akin today, so Year of the Horsey.
Oo
Okay,
nga eh.
as he'd
I
like
thought
to
you
say.
wanted us to not talk about your horoscope
Hindi,
today.
Kasi baka mapaaway ako sa...
Yun nga!
I mean like, kasi sabi niya kailangan itigil ang pag-ibig para may konting kapayapaan, right?
Oo, para mahanap mo
Mami-
yung iyong self-worth.
Wow.
Yeah, so kailangan mo itigil yung pag-ibig. And I thought you didn't want to talk about that, so that's why I steered
Okay
to a
lang
different
yan.
direction. But
All
here
I
you
can
go,
say is...
reading your horoscope.
All I can say is, to all my fellow kabayos out there, kaya natin to, okay? Kaya natin to. We're all free in our own way. Yon.
Yeah, at saka sabi naman ni Master Hans, ito po ay ano lang, patnubay lamang. Diba?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Importante yun, okay?
Oo.
Importante yun.
So, you know what? A lot of people are joining us on Facebook. I am so sorry. I was not able to read this when Ayn was still here. But Jamil Logmao says, Happy Friday po. It's so nice to see Miss Ayn on the show. So, thank you so much for joining us. Patrick Santos says, Good morning. Rix Vaughn also saying hi. John Victor says, Good morning. Watching on YouTube and listening to Mellow 94.7. He's everywhere. He's on Facebook,
everywhere.
YouTube, and on Mellow. Thank
He
you so
has-
much for joining us.
Kasi naman, we're not giving them any excuse about to miss us. And
yeah.
we're not giving you an excuse to miss the next segment, by the way,
Yes.
because the genius behind the viral Dubai chocolate, Chef Nouel Catis, returns on the show to unveil something he's been cooking up. Find out after the break. Stay tuned. Beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Beautiful Day. Now, you know our guest today for his viral creation, the Dubai chocolate, which took the internet by storm. Now, this culinary sensation joins us today to unveil what the new venture is that he's undertaking, and you'll hear it first here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Chef Nouel Catis in What's Cooking. And he makes a return. Beautiful day, Chef Noel.
The
Beautiful
return
day,
of Chef
everyone.
Noel.
I'm glad to be back.
Oh, I'm
And
so
you
happy.
are our very first guest for this segment, What's
Really?
Cooking?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Honored,
always,
honored.
we're always happy to have you here. Of course, ever since we, put a fresh coat of paint on the show.
Yes.
And first of all, how have you been? What have you been up to? It feels like you've been doing so much.
A
I don't know kung
lot.
nakakatulog ka pa.
Yeah, I was able to get a good sleep. Pero, when the last time I was here, I was only talking about ideas.
Yeah.
Ngayon,
Yeah.
ang dami nang nangyayari eh.
Oo.
Yeah, and I'm of course super happy to have actually made dreams come to life.
Yeah, because this show
I
is a
know-
dream maker. Eh.
Exactly, yun nga yung sasabihin ko. Swerte the show eh.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Ito yung parang nagbibigay ng luck.
Yeah, diba? Now, we have Chef Noel
Lalo na
agreeing.
year, coming from a year of the, I'm a rabbit person. So.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, kasi we have si Master Hans kasi. So, but yeah.
But the last time you were here, you were promoting your collaboration with Amado
Amado
Forest
Forest,
and
yes.
AF Hospitality.
Correct,
How
yeah.
was that whole experience?
It actually paved the way for me to kind of make a grand entrance of Philippines. And since then, ang dami nang nangyayari. So, like, month after month, ang daming nangyayari. Not just also locally, but also internationally. So, ang daming pasabog.
I mean, like, one of them, ang daming pasabog. We're gonna get to that later, by the way. But then we're gonna talk about something that's been a bit more public recently.
okay.
And that is because we all know you from the Dubai chocolate, but
Yes.
you have now crafted a Manila chocolate.
Manila chocolate, yes.
So-
Remember we talked about it before you asked me, like, ano ba yung ingredient you would like to make it viral again? And I
Yeah.
said ube. So now we have Manila chocolate, which is actually an ube baklava with cashew nuts. Yeah.
So we have it
And
here.
we have it right
We
here.
have the pack
True.
here. We're
Yes.
gonna have a tasting later on. But of course, when you take a look at this, you're working with Auro, who famously actually uses local chocolate.
Correct, yes.
Based in Davao, if I'm not mistaken. How
correct.
important was it to be working with a group that is very much rooted in Filipino farmers and
Yes.
Filipino products, and making sure that our chocolate, which has its own distinct flavor profile, by the way,
Correct, yeah.
is really put up on stage.
Kasi we wanted to do, again, celebrate, your roots. And if I've done that to Dubai, I have to do it for Manila. And the best way is really to partner with a brand like Auro that's, who's using, like, cacao from Davao. And, it's a way for us to celebrate our own chocolate. That's why we have Manila chocolate using and partnering with Auro, which is the rightful thing to do.
Philippines is known as one of the very first countries here in Asia to farm yung cacao.
Exactly,
Right?
yeah.
So how would you describe yung chocolate natin? Kaya na ba natin makipagsabayan?
Kaya na. In fact, in Europe, they're actually getting a lot of cacao beans from Davao. And they're also calling it as a Philippine chocolate kasi they have realized ang daming nuances ng Philippine chocolate that makes it really stand out amongst the the other kinds of like origin chocolate, which means nagagaling sa isang location. So it really it really has a distinct, like you said, Pao, may distinct flavor siya. And that's what they're anchoring on. Na may unique flavor si Philippine cacao, and that's what they're putting on the center stage overseas. So ngayon, ang daming brands, not just Auro, but other famous brands internationally who are actually using yung Philippine cacao. Kasi it's really different. It has its own... Parang when I take a bite, it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow, that's
that
fantastic.
kind of thing.
So, just so we have an idea, kasi syempre some people be like, oh yeah, it tastes different, but how would you describe it? Like, how would you try to make it resonate with yung mga Pinoy? Like, they probably don't realize na, ito pala yung Pinoy chocolate.
Yes. I remember when dun sa may EDSA, we used to have this Ricoa, remember the
Yes.
plant?
Yes.
And I get to
It's
smell
still
that,
there.
di ba? Yung, andun pa rin
It's
ba?
still there,
But
yeah.
are you still able to smell
And
yung
it still
cacao?
has that smell.
Yes.
It still has...
So parang...
So guys, daan tayo mamaya sa
Oo,
ito.
pag dumaan ka, amoy cacao.
Amoy lang
Amoy
natin.
cacao,
Oo.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yung amoy niya is may pagka-vanilla, sweet, a bit earthy, but in a good way kasi medyo nutty siya. So when you eat it, it really reminds you of that, the time when you pass through EDSA and you smell the chocolate, or even back home when you have tablea.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
kind of flavor profile, na very very earthy and very nutty, grounded. Yun yung kanyang mga essence ng Philippine cacao. And also yung vanilla-ish na direction niya, dun yung Of course, it depends on how you really ferment it. Pero as a baseline, ganun yung flavor profile niya.
You know what? I was asking Chef Noel kanina before the segment started, before we check out the other creations that you've been cooking up, kasi pasabog yun
Yes.
on the show, right? Yeah. But I wanted to ask about yung appearance mo on Shark Tank Dubai,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it had quite the outcome. So
Yeah.
can you tell us what happened behind the scenes? And you declined
Yes, I
the
did.
the offer, right?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when they watched the show, people were kind of torn. Some of them were like saying, "Good for you, chef. You said yes," and also half of the population maybe were saying like, "No, that was a bad deal, and chef, you shouldn't have said yes." And like, but the thing is, it created it kind of ruffled everybody else about a Filipino on Shark Tank, because the first one we had was in the U.S.
Yeah.
and I was probably the second one who got actually an investor going for my pitch. And there were 3 sharks actually saying yes. But, there was a waiting period of 6 months after actually the show was filmed. And I had a lot of deep thinking kasi my brand changed. It became what it was. And, kumbaga, whatever they mentored me to do, I took them to heart, and then I did it, and my brand became bigger.
Yeah.
So,
Within
binalikan ko
those
sila.
6 months,
Exactly. Period
within
the
that
waiting
s-
time.
yeah, yeah.
So, binalikan ko, and I said, like, can we go back to the original, pitch?
Okay.
20%, and you give me 2 million AED. And which they declined. They said it should be what we agreed on the show. So I have to walk away and, just doing everything by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously, it's at the end of the day, it's about you.
Exactly.
Your
Yeah, I'm the
your-
brand, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
difficult to give
yeah.
yourself like majority of yourself to somebody.
How did that change your brand strategy?
It-
That decision of yours.
It changed a lot in a way that now I have control over my own creativity. I take my own decisions in terms of what I want to do with myself and how I should expand my brand. And it's all about taking ownership. And I think if you're a new brand, you need to have that kind of ability to say no.
Yeah.
Because ang daming gustong makisawsaw, syempre. And
Yes.
you just need to have that kind of, I would say, parang the ability to really say, I'm confident enough to say no kasi I have bigger plans than what probably other people have about my own brand.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the hardest thing, to
It
say
is.
no,
Yeah.
right?
Saying no is hard.
Yeah. But of course, what we also enjoy about the fact that, okay, your creativity is free. You're a mad scientist. I mean, like, you've been experimenting with so many ingredients. Banana, coconut, matcha,
Yes.
in general. Let's talk about that first, because
Yeah.
your experiments have obviously led to things like this,
Yes.
the new vanilla chocolate.
Yeah.
But of course, what ingredients have you been finding yourself working with the most that siguro kailangan natin abangan?
Are these products about to be launched?
About to be launched. So what happened now with my chocolate line, which is called Snap, is we are now celebrating every city of this world. So every city will have its own, favorite nostalgia. So I'm cooking up, for example, you asked me Paolo, about ingredients. I'm working with something that has to do with London, so it has to be with sticky toffee pudding, with a bit of Arabic or Filipino touch. Then we're talking about Mumbai, so it has to have the kind of the biryani feel, so mga saffron. So I'm actually also working with like something more Asian, like let's say matcha, hojicha. So we're cooking up something that's really more about celebrating every city's childhood memory.
Okay.
So that's what kept me busy, and some of them are still going to be released.
So,
Yeah.
but I know you love bananas.
Oh, yeah, I love sardine.
So
I should have
banana
brought
and
you
chocolate, that
something
is
then.
an overpowering flavor.
You can always come
diba?
back, huh? You can
Yeah.
always come back. I mean, like, hindi lang just now, right? We can just send us chocolates.
We can have this segment like every week if you
we
want.
can.
Yeah.
I'll be a regular here.
Oh, if you come up with a new flavor combination,
Yeah.
announce it here.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, like, just experiment.
Kami magte-taste test.
Oh, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk about, we talked about the ideation.
Yes,
And now
yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
focus on yung experimentation process
Yes.
mo. Like, just how does that work out? Kasi, like, for example, yung banana,
Yeah.
it's such an overpowering flavor.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, it's so overpowering and
Yeah.
minsan nawawala yung pagka-chocolate ng,
Yeah.
item mo. So, how do you do it? How do you balance it out?
There is a formula that I follow, and first and foremost, it's always about being true to the ingredients and also making sure the ingredients shine instead of the sugar. Because a lot of
yeah.
That's
dessert makers, chocolate makers, they only highlight on having as much
Sweet.
sugar,
Yeah.
but
Sweetness,
you can only taste sugar, and the rest you forget about the main flavors. So it's very intentional when I do my innovation. So I have to make sure all the ingredients shine and which one should actually shine the most. Kasi yung iba supporting na lang na roles eh. So parang movie din. So I have to, it's really a kind of, it's very, tawag dito, it's really calculative. It also is something to do with my experience in the industry. So you just have to make that call. So, you just have to say this, tama na to, even if others are saying baka kulang pa. But you just have to make that call. So my element din you have to just decide on your own.
Yeah.
Kung tama na siya.
And you have a matcha product coming out
Yes.
October, you
Yes,
said?
October,
Ayan.
yeah.
And first heard here, first
Yeah.
announced here on the
Yeah,
show.
so we'll have a collab then with Matcha Tokyo. So we'll be doing some pastries, not only not only chocolate, but even yung desserts,
Yeah,
desserts and also drinks. I also do drinks as well. So yeah, my yung plethora of my creativity is actually like
It's growing.
Yeah, it's growing. So
Yeah.
unlimited.
Is it hard to stay focused? Kasi ang daming, it's so fun to play, right? With
Yeah, it
certain
is.
ingredients,
Yeah.
certain execution. So
Correct.
how do you stay focused?
It's the thing is you just need to take a rest. Like for me, weekends are my really important days because I get to spend time with my dogs. I get to like maybe go out watch a movie or
Right,
spend
right.
time with friends. You just have to really make the conscious effort to like ano
Take a
muna,
step
step
back.
back
Yeah.
and try to recharge, like go far away from what you're doing kasi that also is a source of inspiration when you see other things happening around. Mahirap to control but you need to have that discernment.
Yeah, kailangan may reset.
Kailangan. oo.
Yeah. But we have some great news to announce.
Yes.
First heard here on BNC, first heard on Beautiful Day. Tell us all about this. Meron
Well,
kang pasabog?
nakakatawa to say this on air kasi I just get to listen this to mga artista. But I do have a tour.
Oh,
kind
there
of
you go.
a dessert
A tour? A dessert tour,
Yeah,
okay.
so first I'm gonna land in Melbourne. I will be working with Chef Maurice Danzen, and he's actually well awarded in Italy. He's actually the first Filipino who competed in an Italian cuisine and fusing Filipino and Italian cuisine together. Now he's based in Melbourne, so we're doing a supper club with him.
Okay.
And I'm, of course, gonna be putting out my desserts. And then after that, I'm gonna move to Singapore because we will have Snap in Singapore. And then Hong Kong as well will be launching our chocolate.
Grabe. So how are you feeling going on tour? Parang artista ka.
Parang artista nga, di ba? But I've never
May
thought that...
entourage ka rin.
Yeah, I mean, you just get to see that when you were young, like, artists saying it, but now I can actually get to say it myself. Like, yeah, I do have a dessert tour happening.
Yeah, and that's incredible. You know, it feels like since we first met, of
Yes.
course, we were talking just about ideas.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
now it feels like,
It's happening.
We put a rocket on your back,
Yeah.
and now you're going left and
Wait a
right.
minute, we guested him.
Yeah, we did.
also,
We did.
right?
Yeah.
correct.
The No Bros, I think.
Yes.
When they were here.
Oh, yeah, that's Chef Maurice.
Yes, when they were here, they were talking a lot about especially Filipino heritage and, of course, mixing
Yes.
Italian
Yeah.
cuisine as well. Collaborations left and right. We take a look at the people that you're working with, but of course, how is that experience like for you, knowing that you're with people just as passionate,
Yes.
just as strong-willed as you are when it
Yes.
comes to this world? Because this is a type of world that means it's so easy to get lost in. You can
It
lose
is.
your identity.
It's very cutthroat, and kailangan you should just really know why are you here for? What's your intention? Why are you doing it? And for me, I really just want to be the new wave of chef in terms of the dessert field who can champion the Filipino heritage and put it out in the world through recipes. And that's what I'm trying to champion, and just having fun with collaborations. At the end of the day, you need to have fun with it. Otherwise,
Right.
walang saysay.
And your product kasi is fun.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Chocolate.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
kailangan talaga may fun factor.
Yes.
But alam mo, Ann, we're running out of time
What?
here. But then, you know what?
Ang saya pa ng
But
usapan.
the nice thing about this show, and the way that it's also evolved, like Chef Noel has, is that we have a new ingredient to each of our interviews right now.
Yes.
It's a nice finishing touch. We like to put it right on top. Kumbaga, it's like the cherry on top of each and every conversation. And ano nga to?
The show's called Beautiful Day. So, Chef Noel, what makes your day beautiful?
Chocolates.
Of course! Of course!
Simple yung sagot. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Chef Noel Catis,
Thank
for
you.
making
Thank
our
you
day
very
beautiful,
much.
Good luck to you.
delicious.
Yeah.
And wow, we can see you again soon with
Yes,
more
of
banana
course.
content also.
Yeah, we might do something with that. Yeah.
Matcha
Yes,
for
sir.
me.
Okay,
Okay.
matcha banana sorted.
There it is. It's all sorted out.
Thank you.
Yes. And that's a wrap on our show for this Friday, August 15. It was a great week. Thank you so much for joining us throughout the entire week. I'm Paolo de Rosario. Remember, keep it cool, take it easy.
And I'm Ann Asis-Carilo. Quick shout out to my beauty sponsors, Lift Clinic and Pino Beauty Lounge, and to our home, of course, for our awesome set. Have a great day and a great weekend ahead. And always remember to choose joy, spread kindness, and pack your own sunshine wherever you go. See you again next week, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
Beautiful Day!